I was a copywriter at McCann Erickson in Toronto, and I wrote a commercial, contest commercial for Coca-Cola, and we cast Tim Conway in the role, and so they flew me down here, and this would have been, I was like right out of school, 73, something like 1973, and so I get down here and I stayed at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel because, advertising really, they do it right. And, we shot with Tim Conway and I went to a couple of showbiz parties and I remember writing home because you still wrote back then. And I just said, this is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to be. So this is before SCTV, before I even went into Second City Stage, and long before my first trip to work here, which was considerably later. It was about 78. I got a job doing a screenplay for Columbia. And so Eugene Levy and I were writing it together. And so they flew us down here. And that was a funny trip too, because the lot, which is now the Warner lot, back then it was Columbia, and David Bagelman, who was disgraced for stealing from the company, was still in charge when we came down to work on this script. I remember our first day on the lot, and Eugene and I were walking around. We were like pretty happy with ourselves, two Canadian guys on Hollywood lot. And this guy, mail delivery guy on a bike with a wicker basket and a bunch of envelopes, skids to a stop. And he recognized us from SCTV. He said, "You're guys from SCTV?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he said, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, we're writing a movie for Columbia." He said, "Oh, cool." He said, "I'm writing a movie for Columbia too. And I got a development deal with Mel Brooks and I'm doing," and he listed off about 3 or 4 things that he's doing. Then he tears off on his bike. And Eugene and I just hung our heads, completely depressed that the mail guy had more going on than we did. So that was a really interesting introduction to Hollywood because it let you see, how much of it is bullshit, how much of it is real. And, and we were still fresh. We were still fresh from the 49th parallel.